Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune into Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
And now, live from the TCL broadcast studios, it's Joe Souchere and Patrick Royce with Sports Talk.
With stinks. That's all I got to say.
Let's go quickly to this call, Pat.
All right.
Mike, go ahead, please.
Joe, here's the issue with the snow. It's coming down so hard, and it's full of so much moisture, it's packing right on the highway. And then these people get in this stop-and-go traffic,
Yep.
and they got no tread on their tires. They can't get going again.
Yep.
Now you got people going out of the ruts, trying to get around them. It's horrible out here.
Well, I wish I could help you. Stay tuned. Kenny will have more. He'll guide you to a make-a-move.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they say?
Sometimes you eat the bar, and sometimes the bar eats you.
I thought you were going to weigh in on the bad tires.
What is this one? What does Tom need, Reeves?
He's got a question on the Polish doctor, sir.
All right, Tom, real quickly, please.
Don,
I'm sorry.
Hi, yeah. So I got sort of two questions about the Polish doctor. First question is the Polish doctor in this country legally?
Yes.
I don't think he is.
Well, permanent green card, whatever that means. Mm-hmm. But this is the...
Why would they come and arrest him if he was here legally?
Just a minute.
And the next question is, do you think that we can support every single person who wants to come to this country who's just poor and has to come here to avoid life somewhere else?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Did you hear the one about the Polish doctor?
Really good call screening there, Larry.
you're welcome, sir. I'm here for you,
This
Joe.
wasn't a case of it's a story of a Polish.
I know, I read it. Yeah. Why are we sending him back?
I don't know. Mm-hmm. Because ISIS wants to show that they're not discriminatory.
They're not just plucking
going
poor
after
people.
Affluent people who they claim are not here legally.
Oh, okay.
Okay, where'd you find this ad?
Somebody put it on Twitter. Oh, guy's name. It's 1970, and obviously before the Super Bowl or right after the first Super Bowl.
It's a Viking helmet, and it says, "We still love you in January as we loved you in September."
So it had to be after the Chiefs beat them.
And it's a Winston ad.
Yes, it is. It's
Winston
a Winston
cigarette.
ad.
Oh, okay.
And just very subtle down on the bottom. You can either get king size or
Regular
small ones.
size.
King
Small
size.
ones,
Yeah.
yes. King size or small ones.
Pat, you probably remember this. If I remembered it, I had completely forgotten about it. Rook was wondering before about why doesn't the NFL play a third place game? You take the two losers.
Why would they want to do that?
Well, here it turns out, according to Robert, here is the answer to Rook's question about the third place game. They already did that. If coming in second just makes you the first loser, what can be said about a team that finishes third? Well, for 10 seasons, 1960 to 69, in the NFL, they'd call you the winner of the playoff bowl.
Yes.
Officially
and the Vikings played in it once.
Officially named the Burt Bell Benefit Bowl after a league commissioner who suffered a fatal heart attack in 1959.
It was
Excuse me.
It was intended to pump up the pension fund for players.
It was played the week after the NFL championship game, except for the 1969 game, which took place the day before. And they were at the Orange Bowl in Miami. The participants were the second-place teams of the NFL's Eastern and Western Conferences.
Vikings and whom?
I don't know.
No. The 1968, the Vikings played in that game because they lost. I believe the Vikings played in that game. Because 1969, they were in the 1969, January of 69 or the 69 season.
I don't know.
Well, you got to know that. Anyway, they did play this stupid thing for. It was sort of like the second All-Star game in baseball. Yeah. They were doing it to get more money in the pension fund because the cheap owners didn't want to pay for it to pay a pension by themselves. So.
What's your take, Patrick?
I have never been this stunned by a Viking performance. This is, to me, the worst performance in franchise history.
Because they didn't show up.
1969, we were fully confident, but the Chiefs, when they got out on the field, had 8 Hall of Famers. They had great athletes.
Right.
And they beat the hell out of the Vikings 23-7. And that was more naivete than actuality. That 12-point spread was ridiculous. The Chiefs were better than the Vikings.
All right.
B, the 41 donut game, which is the comparable in January 2001, that team had terrible defense. And that team was 11-5, and they weren't as good as this team. And they had a chance to play a pretty mediocre Giants team. That was shocking. But this, to me, this no-show was more shocking.
I don't even know how you explain it, do you?
And here, let me say one more thing about 41 Donuts. They had guys on that team that were going to quit. Randy Moss, if things weren't going right, he was going to quit. He was going to stop caring. And they had a bunch of guys like that. That was not a lovable collection of hard-nosed athletes, right?
All right.
They had their share, but plus they had guys playing in the secondary who were clowns. This team had 3 outstanding guys in the secondary who played like clowns. Harrison Smith, he might be the best safety in the NFL. He was horrible. Xavier Rhodes was horrible.
Why?
Trey Waynes
Just
was
a bad
horrible.
day at the office? Is that what we...
I think that the Vikings prepared them for the Eagles to play a very conservative offense, not throw the ball down the field.
Which Foles was thought not to be able to do.
Yes.
And he did.
And run it a lot and try to beat them 15-10 just like they beat Atlanta. And this Peterson, they came out and threw it all over the place. Converted. The Vikings were giving up 25% conversions on third downs, which is historically good. What were these guys? They were 8 of 9 at one point or something. Now, normally they didn't get to third down.
And Nick Foles' passer rating in the second half was perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, he was 14 out of 15 for 2 touchdowns and all kinds of yards. Yeah, I don't know. They just no-showed.
The other thing we learned, too, I believe yesterday, is that Case Keenum had a great season. He's a decent quarterback, but he really isn't the answer. He's not a guy that can lead you when you're down multiple scores in a ball game. That's significant in a significant ball game.
Who they had lately who could do that?
I think Bradford, maybe when he's healthy. When he's healthy,
he would have gotten steamrolled with that pass rush yesterday.
But he's got a better arm than Keenum does.
He's more accurate.
Yeah.
Keenum, he did get hit on that pop-up he threw, but he a couple of times wasn't aware about how much pressure there was around him. I'll say that. Yeah, he didn't play. He was not the reason. The defense was the reason. The defense getting shredded like this is just unbelievable. I don't think I heard a couple of your callers saying, hey, it's a great season, blah, blah, blah. BS. You can't pile on enough on that performance yesterday. You can't. They deserve to get absolutely slashed and burned for that performance. It was pathetic. And I see people trying to make excuses for them. No, there is none. There is none. They were god-awful. And when they had everything lined up for them, they had a miracle to get there. They should have been loose and goose and let's go here. And they just got absolutely outcoached, outplayed, outwilled, outmuscled, everything.
Sometimes you eat the bar.
That's right.
Sometimes the bar will eat you.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Pat, you're unaware of the fact that in your absence, it became official that Lake Calhoun's name was changed.
Bidet Maksawi.
Well, we have it. We have the correct pronunciation as soon as Rookie tells me he has it.
No, but
no, that's what it is.
BDA. Is it bidet?
Bidet Makaska.
Bidet Makaska.
But you know what a bidet is?
Well,
washes your hiney.
Yeah, this is a different one. This is like
we're not talking about that kind of bidet.
John Calhoun might have been bad, but we're not talking about washing his rear end here.
Let's
come up with a different name. Weren't we originally going to throw bidet out of it?
I don't know.
Or it's just
and just go with
Maka
yeah.
I think that I don't know why that changed. One quick note here with the weather. We do have a development from the business office. Good afternoon. Due to the inclement weather conditions, if it is not business essential for you to be here, feel free to head out early today if you have any questions or concerns. And that's signed from Mary. I sent an email back saying I'll talk to Joe and Patrick about leaving early. So I might get a head start here, guys.
Don't you think the conversation today and the angst and the disappointment, you could cut it in half and eliminate it if the Super Bowl was to have been played this year in, say, Phoenix?
Yes.
What people were anticipating was the 2-week party and they're going to be home. Okay,
there's no doubt about it.
We came up with some bright sides on this show, preceding. They've avoided now being a 5-time Super Bowl loser.
Yes, they have.
They avoided losing the Super Bowl the first time ever a team played it at home.
Yes.
Okay, why not embrace this futility of these magnificent bastards? Right?
I think.
How many cities in America, Pat, can claim this?
No. But you know what? I might have to break out my 3-year remembrances, because when they lost 41 to Donut, I did a 3-month anniversary piece, and I did a 6-month anniversary piece.
You got to break that out again.
And I was going to do a 9-month anniversary piece, and I started receiving death threats, and the editors didn't want it. But I think we're going to have anniversary pieces on this one. I think it was bad enough.
I think we need it.
Yes,
we need it.
Tell Tom we'll get back to his call. I'm going to leave now. I'm a non-essential.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. We'll see you around for the ride.
Tom, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Patrick, just a quick thought. I've listened to that after show on your station last night, the wee hours, late night.
3 hours? They went 3 hours on the front line.
Yeah, pretty morbid if you ask me. About a half hour would have covered it. But anyhow, I had the thought, we're sitting with 3 quarterbacks. 2 of them, we don't know if they can walk, throw, talk, or anything. I would have loved to have seen that fourth quarter develop into a tryout session.
I thought we were going to see Bradford.
Hey, Bradford or Ted, even more so
Well,
Teddy.
Teddy wasn't dressed.
Teddy wasn't dressed.
Teddy wasn't dressed. All right. Well, you need to see something, and I think the only reason would be to eliminate humiliating Keenum any further by pulling him, but I think he did a pretty good job by himself.
Keenum will, Teddy Bridgewater will be their quarterback next year. I'm making a bold prediction.
That solves that. Hey, quick question.
I also made a bold prediction of Vikings 27, Eagles 10, so hopefully this one will be more accurate.
Quick question for you, Pat. What years were you up in Duluth with the Herald and Tribune?
I was in Duluth for 4 months in 1966 at $76 a week. And Augie offered me $110 to go to St. Cloud, and I couldn't get there fast enough.
There you go.
I thought I was in tall clover.
I remember that. Thank you.
All right.
It wasn't the Duluth Herald Tribune, was it?
Yes.
It was?
Duluth, they had an afternoon. News Tribune was the morning. The Herald was the afternoon.
Well, the only thing surviving is News Tribune.
Yes.
Right.
The afternoon paper.
Who had to make the train? Who was that? Was that you or Augie?
What?
Wherever they were going to their call in or their work, they had to beat the train.
Augie had to come in and do the sports every morning for KFAM, the Big Dependable.
Okay.
And he got $1. And he'd have to he'd come run in. If he was across the tracks before the train came, then he'd be on time. If he wasn't, they'd just go blank.
What was the brand of eggnog he advertised?
Oak Grove.
Oak Grove.
Drink Oak Grove.
Drink Oak Grove eggnog, and you'll never drink eggnog again. Somebody had just brought a punt back for St. John's for a touchdown to put them ahead of Grambling and our Prairie and A&M, and that's when Augie blurted that out. So.
Are we going to Action Force Team 1500? We certainly are.
Let's do it in the normal spot at 25.
All right, very good. Will the snow keep the auto? Well, you answered that question. seats might be empty in the building tonight, but they'll still announce
They'll have the usual sellout.
Yeah.
Sure they.
My God,
I saw last night again. They announced the other night they had 19 again.
Yeah.
1,000 more than capacity every game.
On hockey night in that was Hockey Day in Minnesota,
yes,
the final event.
I could sense the excitement. That's the reason I came home Friday, so I could be here for Hockey Day in Minnesota. Yep. Although it was funny to see him up in St. Cloud, because I told you when I worked in St. Cloud, they didn't have hockey. The St. Cloud State played outside on a rink below the arena, and the high schools didn't have hockey.
Boy, oh boy.
When I was there, 66, 7, and 8, which tells you one thing: I'm old.
Pat.
Yes.
Are you doing Radio Row at the Super Bowl?
No.
Thank God.
The morning show will be there.
Yep.
But I would like to have somebody out there, Reavers, lining up guests and having them talk to me here.
I think we could arrange that.
I think we have to get you a pass.
I don't think we can trust him. I really don't think.
Hey, pretend your name is Leon Lex. You're on with Patrick Royce.
If he was like me, I'd just go to some bar somewhere.
No, wouldn't that be a great bit, though? Just put people on and just say who they are.
Roger Staubach. My golly, remember that?
Hey, look who just walked in. Terry Bradshaw. You say a few words back to the studio.
Meanwhile, I'm at the bar in Carver. I'm at Harvey's.
Yeah. Hey, you know what I happened to watch? I was clicking channels the other night, and Semi-Pro was on that horrible Will Ferrell movie.
That was awful.
Horrible Will Ferrell movie, The Flint Tropics. But the guy who throws in the one for $10,000, the Dukes or whatever his name is, this shirtless drugged meth guy who throws it in from. He was a pretty funny character.
Yeah.
Dukes, I think it was. Did you ever see that movie, Rook?
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh, it's Will Ferrell.
What was it?
It's awful.
It's basketball. He was wearing the tight.
The Flint.
Oh, no.
The
Gross.
Flint Tropics are in the ABA, and they're trying to be part of the merger. And Will Ferrell is playing for him, and he's the owner.
You know
but
what?
They get this guy out of the stands, and they're having him try to throw a ball in from here to Williams Arena.
Right.
And Dukes, he's falling asleep. He's a drug addict, and he just throws it and goes whoosh.
Rookie, you could have started that doing the double pump layup. That's the kind of movie it was.
That would have been unforgivable. You know what I'm saying?
Can I veer wildly back to football?
Yes.
Did you see the hit Gronkowski took yesterday?
Yeah, that was pretty cheap.
That was pretty cheap and pretty bad. Did he ever come back in the game?
He did not.
Nope.
No, I don't know what we heard about him concussed-wise today.
Such a shame. You know, he's only done that to about 7 guys this year.
Did they say he was...
Explain what happened.
Did they say he was concussed?
And he went down.
The guy just came over and ear-holed him, man.
And he got up, and he was really wobbly.
Wow.
They took him immediately off the field. He kept saying, "Woo-wee." He kept saying, "Woo-wee."
Yeah, but they won anyway, because that's what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah. He's going for his 6th title.
Yeah.
Rating.
This will be their 8th Super
Bowl. Sports Talk will return shortly. But
it's from Judley and Matt Collar about how their trip home's coming so far. They're stuck in Philly.
Yeah, they are. I know that their flight was delayed until tomorrow, and I know Judd and Collar were out shopping, and Judd already bought an NFC champion T-shirt at a Philadelphia store.
Oh, okay, that's good. That is, and I hope he got me one large enough. It'd be good. That'd be agitate.
Here's John Height in the newsroom.
Thanks, Joe. Snow, blowing snow, 29 degrees. Coach Mike Zimmer of the Minnesota Vikings, he will hold his season-ending press conference tomorrow morning. It'll be at 9 o'clock. I'm sure he'll be asked about yesterday's game.
Really, John?
Guess.
You think so?
I think so. Also, quarterback questions about who the quarterback might be next season, and offensive coordinator questions. Vikings got a few things to go over in the offseason. No doubt they'll be addressed, and he'll just sidestep all those questions.
When do we start camp? August?
Okay. Well, we got the rookie camp almost 10 minutes after the draft is held. So.
Timberwolves out on the West Coast tonight playing the Clippers.
By the way, one thing, fellas, the Vikings said goodbye to the winter part.
Oh, God, that's right.
For the last time today. The next time they assemble, it will be in the Egan
I drove by it today. It looks like a Viking ship.
Maybe that'll change things.
That looks like a ship, too?
It looks like a Viking ship. I think that's what they were trying to gather.
I thought we did that with the stadium downtown.
Well, it's a box, but it's the way they've decorated. It's set to look like sails, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm just really hoping that the Wolf family will be able to sell that property in Eden Prairie.
Right. They're gonna be all right.
I hear he might keep it and develop it himself.
That would be a wise
By the way,
move.
how about this for a design?
The choke
How about
symbol.
this for a design? Instead of the purple? One hand above, you take the right hand, you put it right under the chin. You take the left hand, you put it right on the Adam's apple, and you grasp. How about that?
What's the great Gary Gaetti line? It's hard to hit when you've got both hands.
It's hard to play when you have both hands wrapped around your throat. And they blew the 10-run lead.
I don't mean to. I'm not trying to break anything down here, but watching that game, that defense was horrid, and guys like Smith looked awful. Trey Waynes, who's had a great season, looked awful. Barr looked awful. It was incredible.
And Xavier Rhodes went over and sat in the sideline for a couple of series.
Take a look at my foot. See if anything's wrong. That's what it looked like when they showed him.
Wow, it was terrible.
Wolves out on the West Coast tonight playing the Clippers. They'll be without Jimmy Butler and Jamal Crawford again. Butler's still out because of his sore right knee, and Crawford has the big toe sprain.
Nothing worse for a basketball player than a bad toe.
Yeah,
that's true.
Coach Tom Thibodeau said the two remain out day to day. And late word this afternoon, the Milwaukee Bucks have fired Coach Jason Kidd. How long was Jason there?
About his fourth year now,
Was
I would
it
think.
really? Jeez.
Sean Sweeney, St. Thomas Academy's own, and Cretan's own,
yeah.
and then the University of St. Thomas's own is one of his assistant coaches.
Oh, really?
Yep.
News notes from today, a 37-year-old Waconia man has been charged with 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct after authorities allege he initiated a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old girl that continued to the present. Stuart Buddy Simon is charged with 2 counts of third-degree criminal sexual conduct. According to the criminal complaint, an advocate from the Sexual Violence Center contacted law enforcement in Carver County on January 9th. The now 21-year-old told authorities Stewart initiated the relationship when she was 16, progressing from massages to sexual intercourse. Woman provided authorities with a description of piercings the man has in certain regions of his body. Complaint says that was all confirmed in an interview.
Like nose and
Simon.
ear?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Eyebrows, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Nope. His next court appearance, by the way, next court appearance is February 14th.
They were in places generally not visible?
That's correct, Mr. Royce, yes.
All right.
I'm sure Kenny had this in his last report. For those of us that listen to us on the network, didn't hear it, but 35 is now closed between Owatonna and Faribault due to road conditions.
Bring in the sleeping bags, Reavers.
Oh, my God. Dear honey, I'm getting a room tonight. Deal with it.
The Senate voting 81-18 today to end the 3-day-old government shutdown, with Democrats joining Republicans to clear the way for the passage of a short-term spending package that would fund the government through February 8th in exchange for a promise from Republican leaders to address the fate of young undocumented immigrants known as Dreamers. Chuck Schumer said, in a few hours, the government will reopen. We have a lot to do. Sky watchers are in for a special treat at the end of January when a lunar trifecta fills the night skies.
Oh, boy.
You won't see it.
I'll probably miss it.
You'll miss it.
I'm going to miss it.
A pre-dawn super blue blood moon.
Ooh.
Got all that?
Yeah.
The lunar event on January 31st is third in a string of recent supermoons when the moon is closer to the Earth in its orbit.
That's a Wednesday night.
Appears about 14%
Why do you know
brighter.
I just know that.
Now, not only is it a supermoon, it's also a blue moon,
Oh, yeah.
which is the second full moon that happens in the same calendar month. The month's first moon happened on January 1st. Now, all of this also coincides with a total lunar eclipse, which is called a blood moon.
I'll be darned.
The blood moon.
When the
Blood.
I thought we just had something we'll never see again in 150 years.
And it was boring as hell.
Now we got another one.
Well, funny you should throw out that date, Patrick, because this rare trilogy of lunar events hasn't happened in more than 150 years.
Even Sid hasn't seen it. Huh?
The last blue blood moon was recorded back on March 31st, 1866. According to NASA, people who live here in North America, Alaska, or Hawaii, they'll be able to see all this just before sunrise on January 31st.
These gutless bums couldn't even go back to the Super Bowl for poor Sid, who's going to turn 98 on March 15th. I mean, how many more chances is he going to give you, you clowns?
He'll make it to the next one in 30 years when we build a new stadium.
When are we going to get the new stadium?
I'm waiting for they were so banged up in this game, they wouldn't have been able to win the Super Bowl anyway. Storyline, which is what we got after they choked against Atlanta.
A mystery.
That's a favorite. That's an oldie but a goodie.
Well, that's part of the rule.
Yeah, it is. It could be rule number 16. They wouldn't have won anyway. It's a good thing they lost.
Which is a pre-set up the loss.
I'm getting the impression that all of you Hooplehead stayed with the game until the bitter end.
Oh,
you can't take
guilty.
You know why, Kenny? Anything could have happened.
That's right.
You know what I was accused of?
I was
We were
out
waiting
before
for Stephon Diggs to pull it out for us with a miracle catch.
I was out before halftime.
When I, with my family watching, when I realized they weren't going to win, and I said, well, they're going to lose, my oldest 20-year-old said, what, do you just want Philadelphia to win? And he ended up walking away. He walked out of the room thinking, I said, they're going to lose. I'm sorry. I'm
He
still
got mad.
He got mad. He was very into the game.
I thought I was beating the rush when I said, everything considered, they would have been better off. Everybody would have been better off if Marcus Williams had tackled the guy, right?
Yeah.
That was about 900th in line for that joke. Everybody made that joke.
So, do you guys know anybody other than Chris Reavers that cried at the loss?
No, I don't.
I got to check on my 7-year-old grandson, Luke. I don't know how he handled it.
There shouldn't be any crying.
See, a game like that, Kenny, when it gets that out, you got to keep watching just to see what else is going to happen. I mean, is the building going to catch on fire?
No, you don't.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to.
I do like the fact that the Eagles greeted Viking fans by throwing full cans
beers.
of beers at them, not just cans.
I don't get
full
that.
cans of beers.
I don't get that.
Well,
Well, it's hard to throw an empty can, Patrick, because it's so light.
Yes, it does.
Kenny, I gleefully watched it to the end. So
John's been dying to gloat all day.
No,
He's just been dying
You've
to
been very
gloat.
good, though, today. Though. I appreciate
Thank you.
that, John.
Hey, before we go to break here, our southern
we got a long way to go.
our
Kenny.
southern Minnesota traffic correspondent has a closure for you.
Oh, I gave it already on the air.
Oh, you did? Good.
Yeah, Faribault to Owatonna,
It looks
35
like
is closed.
both directions.
Yes, both directions
Okay.
closed.
Thank you, Christopher.
What are you supposed to do? Go find some farm road to go on?
Well, if you're not a dummy, you weren't on the roads with a truck in the first place.
You got a 4-wheel drive, good tires. Why not?
there you
Go find a gravel. Have some fun.
Let's take a vote.
St. Cloud, nothing.
Oh.
Nothing. Look, they're just clear. That's summer up there, for goodness sake.
Radio legend Don Imus announced this morning he's retiring from his Imus in the Morning radio show.
What is he, about 110?
He's 77 now. I thought he was older also.
Oh, well, he's had
Looks
that
like
look.
90.
He's retiring because they didn't renew his contract.
No, that's not what happened, actually.
That's what I read.
Well, he's he was supposed to work through the end of the year. He's going to retire March 29th.
Yeah.
He says he's doing that because of Cumulus's bankruptcy. He said that required a change of plan. The move will also affect the show's 6-member staff. He paid them out of his own multi-million-dollar contract. He said he's announcing his retirement early because he wants to give them a chance to find a different job. He added that Cumulus initially offered to pay show staff through March 31st and then offered him $1 million to be part of a new WABC morning show until December. He declined that extension. It's unclear whether or not one of the folks on the air with him now will take over the show.
The Sparky Anderson of radio. He always looked like 30 years older than he was.
I thought he moved his location out to New Mexico or someplace like that, didn't he?
I don't think
He's
so.
still
He's been in
broadcasting
New York,
from the East Coast,
New York
huh?
City.
Okay.
All right, just a moment.
Cranky fella.
We have bad weather out today, but I have a weather thing that's amazing.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to be amazed, John.
This is the 75th anniversary of a startling weather event that put Spearfish, South Dakota in the record books.
Really?
Let me see if I can guess.
Okay.
Lots of snow.
Did it go from the highest temperature to the coldest in the shortest amount of time, or vice versa?
You have the right idea,
Okay.
but they weren't records.
All right.
But listen to in a 2-minute frame. Right?
2 minutes.
2-minute time frame. On this day in 1943,
Yeah.
the temperature in Spearfish
Yep.
jumped from 4 below zero to 45 above zero.
In 2 minutes?
In 2 minutes.
Shut up.
Doesn't that still happen, though, Kenny, in the Black Hills? Doesn't that wind go through there and change the temperature?
I'm calling BS.
well, I'm not done. Now, the temperature then increased to 54 degrees later in the day, only to fall back down the next morning to to 4 below zero.
Holy mackerel.
The weather cracked plate glass windows and instantly frosted car windows, forcing drivers to pull over. Meteorologist Susan Sanders said a combination of especially cold air from the north and east ran into warm air from the west. She said warmer air came in and pushed cold air away. When the winds let up, the warmer air retreated, the cold air came back. Sanders said the air masses sloshed back and forth several times that remarkable morning 75 years ago. This, of course, has been in Ripley's Believe It or Not and other places. She said there were newspaper stories from all over the country.
Ripley's Believe It or Not is good enough for me.
There you go.
What a great name for a city, though. Spearfish. That's a great name.
A California city removed an unauthorized road sign erected by a resident who apparently wanted to make it easier for delivery drivers to find Bob's house. Mm-hmm. It was a green sign, looks just like all the other highway signs. Mm-hmm. Merely said Bob's house with an arrow pointing.
Well, that's ingenious.
It works.
And it was underneath several city signs. City of Rancho Santa Margarita said in a Facebook post that the Bob's House sign was removed from under a real road sign that informed drivers they were approaching Cota de Caza and Dove Canyon. The sign was first noticed by confused residents earlier in January. Officials say
somebody ratted them out.
Of course.
That's it, exactly.
Gladys
Oh, my God.
Kravitz was driving,
It's like living in Nazi Germany in the 30s. People just more than willing to call in their neighbors.
Yes. Officials said they were amused by the sign.
Crybabies.
They don't plan to pursue any actions against Bob or whoever happens to be behind the sign. Rancho Santa Margarita City Manager Jennifer Cervantes said, "We noticed the sign. The street sign meets the normal standards."
That's not legal.
Let's go find where this Robert lives.
I'm calling somebody.
As if we would order it ourselves.
Let me send a message to MSP Traffic to find out who I should call.
It could be a prank, she said, a party. We don't know for sure, but we had a good laugh along with everyone else. And the city's Facebook post said it would be willing to return the sign to its creator, no questions asked.
Hey, you know, the Armistice Day blizzard, Johnny.
Uh-huh.
That is famous for the weather change, right?
That was
40 degrees and beautiful.
That was back in November.
That was in November.
And 20 minutes later, people were dying.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the two local newspapers for 50 years would write an annual review of the Armistice Day blizzard.
Always. This right here, this is a bad deal. Villagers in India mistook frozen waste that fell from an airplane for either a UFO or a piece of space rock.
Really?
Weren't
they surprised?
Unidentified flying S. UFS.
So she kind of freezes on the way down
That's
from that
correct.
altitude. Though,
It's just a baby Ruth.
That's all right.
It weighed about 20.
We've been waiting for this for years.
Blessings from heaven.
It weighed about 26 pounds. It fell from the sky.
Rookie, was that you?
It fell from the sky into Fazilpur Badli village on the 13th of January, sending locals into a frenzy.
A frenzy?
3, 2, 1, 0.
Do they really just eject it right out of the airplane?
That doesn't always happen. You'll find out in a minute. I had to research that, actually. A senior official, Vivek Kalia from the city, said some villagers thought it was an extraterrestrial object. Others thought it was
to a certain extent.
Others thought it was some celestial rock, and some of them took samples home.
Today is unbelievable.
It really is.
They put it in the freezer, but of course they don't have one.
The Indian Meteorological Department.
Sitting here on the coffee table thawing out.
Well, wait a minute. They took a sample, so what were they hacking away at it?
That's correct, Chris.
Yeah.
It was like us when they would drop off the salted nut roll in December, and it's February, and we're still trying to chip away at it.
Can you bite through it?
Hey, give me that hammer. Run back to engineering. Give me a hammer and a file.
The Indian Meteorological Department,
Matthew, a chisel.
Thank you.
determined what it was, and they said
How tough could that have been? You needed to bring in an expert to tell you what that was?
some folks apparently
The whole country's covered in it.
I can tell you what it is.
You think they'd recognize it?
Oh, my God.
apparently some folks took it home and put it in their fridge to preserve it.
Sure. Probably serve it for dessert.
One resident.
Is this meatloaf?
One resident.
Where's the meatloaf?
One resident told the Times of India villagers who kept it inside their fridges are disappointed and are now very busy cleaning their houses. Now, it's not unheard of for human waste to crash to the earth from overhead passenger jets, Kenny. although airplane toilets, contrary to popular myth, do not routinely flush into the sky.
I don't even like the fact that they have that capability.
I don't either.
I don't want that.
You keep that till you land, go to a pump out station.
Such, there's like 800 airplanes that fly over my house every day.
Right.
So then you're familiar with this.
I just don't look up.
You do see 2 or 3 stories a year where it's crashed through somebody's roof.
Yeah, blue ice.
Yeah, always happens.
I don't like that.
Gentlemen, one last thing. Do we all agree that the Vikings did in our favorite guy to ever work here, Orville Thompson?
I can't tell you.
Without a doubt.
He is, without a doubt, the best fellow employee I have ever had.
Certainly the greatest character to ever work here.
He came through our office every evening at 5, and he and I had a 15 to 20-minute BS session every day. Most of the time, we had to close the door because we were having so much fun.
All the time.
What's great about Orville's cleaning was my desk is right out here. He would do the same thing on his way to Kenny's. He'd stop and talk to me for 10 minutes. The whole time, he'd be picking little things up off the floor, cleaning.
Yep.
Even if there was nothing there, he was picking
Who brought
stuff.
popcorn?
He hated
Send some bitches back to Maplewood. You're going back to Maplewood, you bleeps.
We earlier during
Then Kenny, how about when he ran into a superior? Why, yes, I think we can get that scared away.
No problem, Mr. Sir.
Yeah.
during Garage
OT, you fraud.
Yeah. During Garage Logic, Rick played part of an interview that came from the Van and Cheryl show. I was producing over there, and
for Pete's sake.
Van used him to do some interviews on the air, which often turned out quite fun. And we got into trouble with one of them, and we had to quit using
And then we stole that idea from you when Willie Clark was
Did
here.
you really?
And we'd have Orville in for 5-10 minutes every other day. And I've never seen the panic button push so many times in a row. Finally, we had to just turn his mic down and make him stop talking.
Are you allowed to say what interview caused that,
Yeah,
Johnny?
it was remember John Schneider from the Dukes of Hazzard?
Yes.
Well, there was a character in the Dukes of Hazzard called Cooter. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, about 3 questions in, Orville finally just said, "Hey, what do you think of Cooter?" and John Schneider got very angry at that point.
Why, John?
Complained bitterly to.
I'm so
our
glad I've
management,
got
so.
5 million OT stories. He was the best.
All right, just a moment. Well, your ride is going to be crucial to try to get people home.
Yes, we're going to have to try to have a good one. It's going to be a
What do you have? Who do you got?
Well, we have Bob Motzko is the St. Cloud State hockey coach. Going to talk to us about the death of Jim Johansson.
What happened? He fell
USA
asleep
hockey.
and never woke up.
53 years old and was really a great influence on USA hockey, Rochester guy. And then we're going to have Gessling and a lot of Viking talk beyond that. Gessling, So
Is there any Viking talk left?
Oh yeah,
I think there is.
Oh yeah, this can be. They can be savage for days here. So.
Yeah, well, do your anniversary piece, and you could turn it into months. Months.
90 days. I'll have to count it up.
1500 ESPN is KSTP, St. Paul, Minneapolis. It's 30, I think, right? And the snow continues to fall. Now, Kenny will make himself available to the ride for Action Force Team 1500.